If you've chafed under the restrictions of the pandemic, if you've been wondering when is this thing finally going to end, well, sort of according to the CDC, we're kind of done with this. Not wholly, but they put out new guidelines easing COVID restrictions, noting that the virus is here to stay. And it's basically moving from schools, businesses, government offices, those sorts of things being responsible for dealing with this, and basically putting it on you. You should still be responsible, but we're moving on. So now, schools and other institutions don't need to screen apparently healthy students and employees as a matter of course. There's no more like, standardized testing or anything. They put less emphasis on social distancing. They're dropping the 6-foot standard. The quarantine rule for unvaccinated people is gone. The agency's focus is now on highly vulnerable populations and how to protect them. So if you've been exposed to the virus, they're not even suggesting that you isolate. Only if you know that you have it should you isolate for 5 days or possibly 10 if you have a particularly bad case of it. And look, they're not gonna present it as totally giving up, and they haven't totally given up. There's still vaccines and there will be boosters, but in terms of official policy, this is as close as you're gonna get to just whatever. We tried for 2 years, people really haven't complied for most of it. We're not gonna bother now, so just go about your business. That's what it feels like, Brett.
No, that's exactly what happened. That is 100% what's happening there. And it follows the right pattern, in my opinion. Like at first, when faced with some kind of challenge, you try to fight it. And you do everything you can and put all the best minds together to fight it, to stop it. And then at this point, that wasn't enough. And you're gonna get the dumbest takes from so many people. They're like, I told you so. But they're just the clock that was right twice a day. They took a ridiculous, on its face stance from the get-go. And what's worse, a weak stance where they weren't trying to fight, they weren't trying to do anything, and they did it for things that obviously only benefited their pocketbooks in the elite. They wanted business to go on as normal. And what's worse is when we put in new policy in order to help people get through it, the major corporations just took that money from the people it was meant to help, and they just pocketed it, did stock buybacks, and didn't hire folks or raise their wages.
100%, yeah. And look, I think at the end of the day, this isn't really about people. This is about just whatever was stopping people from going back to work or congregating. Like this is for the economy. This is for capitalism. That's who this is serving. And you're right. Some right wingers would be like, well, if we could just give up now, why couldn't we just give up a year and a half ago? Well, but you did give up, as Brett said. You gave up a year and a half ago, and we didn't want lots of people to die needlessly. I'll remind you, over 1 million people died. And by the way, we're done now. There were 108,000 cases reported yesterday, just for clarity. And that's reported cases. Do you believe people are testing the way that they were a couple years ago? Nearly 500 people died yesterday with COVID. And that's higher than it was 3 or 4 months ago. So we're done. COVID's not done, but we're done with COVID. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.